What's going on, people? I'm trying to be positive, but I just can't, man. Tottenham won, or Fulham won, Tottenham won. Fulham win 5-3 on penalties. The post-match fan show is going to be explosive, maybe? Is it going to be the same old, same old?
I think disappointing.
It's going to be disappointing. It's going to be disappointed. I'm not really sure what shirt Mikey's wearing. It's not a Man United shirt, is it? It's an Adidas football shirt by the looks of it. But we'll have to wait and see when he comes on. Just frozen. Look, yeah. Same old Tottenham. Everyone laughing. My phone's exploded. I don't know about you, Iggy. I've got messages from Fulham fans, other fans laughing at us.
I haven't even opened.
It's probably best not to, Iggy. It's probably best not to. We're gonna hear some people swearing in Polish. Look, let's just get into the post-match fan show. Let's just get into it, and let's just go and see what you have to say. It's been a horrible night. It's been a roller coaster. And let's get our first guest on. And that first guest is... Dum, dum, dum. Who is it, Sammy?
Mikey.
It's Mikey. Mikey,
Hey.
what shirt you got on, Mikey?
It's an Ajax one.
Oh, okay.
It was a Man United
yeah.
one.
Yeah, we thought it was a Man United
No.
one. So, Mikey, you watched the game?
No, I didn't, because I do not illegally stream.
Oh, okay.
Fair play.
Fair play to you.
Definitely
You
don't do that.
didn't miss much, if I'm honest with you. We were watching it, and I think we'd rather have not been. But yeah, give us your thoughts.
I
Mikey.
listened to the 5 Live Sports Extra stream. I am beyond words.
Okay.
At the very end of the match, I was actually ready to smash up several parts of my room.
Okay.
But I've since managed to contain that raw emotion and tried to think for the life of me why Davinson Sanchez stepped up to take the third penalty.
Yeah, I mean we're still thinking that as well. But Mikey, on that lineup, what were your thoughts on the initial lineup with 9 changes from the Bournemouth and the Man United game?
I thought there'd be more integration and fluidity than there was. I was trusting Postecoglou to rotate with the idea of actually going for the game. I don't lay the blame entirely at Postecoglou's feet because the players didn't look up for this and they were absolutely shell-shocked in the first half for some reason.
Mikey Postecoglou selects the team lineup, so it should equally be his blame. The same way we blame the players. Postecoglou makes the lineup. We praise him when he selects the right team. He should also be criticised when he doesn't.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Some of the players didn't look up for it, but hello.
Yeah, we can hear you, mate.
Still hear you,
Yeah,
mate.
sorry. Oh, sorry, because I could hear a reverb of my own voice and it's just been corrected. Sorry. Yeah, so I was just saying that I've agree with you 100%, but I think it's more down to the fact that it's not necessarily that we played a couple of bad players and Davinson Sanchez springs to mind immediately, but I want to say that for the lineup he picked, the performance was not befitting. You know, some of these players are seasoned Tottenham regulars who've played games before and understand the importance of a cup to a team like Tottenham, and they just let us down. Højbjerg and Skip, regulars in the team for the last 2-3 years, didn't perform near as to what was expected. And so while I do blame Postecoglou partly for the lineup and kind of maybe chucking a few players in at the deep end, it's more I think just the players didn't adapt and didn't show themselves to be worthy of playing the way that Postecoglou wants them to. I think.
Yeah, look, yeah. I mean, I think 9 changes for me were far too many.
It's too much.
I think, you know, as much as I'll sing the praises of my boy Emerson, I think putting him in a defence with Davinson Sanchez, Ben Davis. I mean, we may as well have gone the whole hog. We may as well just put Dyer in as well, right? Because Van der Ven looks like, you know, he was carrying that whole defence for pretty much the whole of the game until we had a bit more in midfield. And it looks like Van der Ven has come out with an injury as well, which obviously doesn't look good. I just, the irony is that the substitutes that came on and had less than 25 minutes. James Maddison had less than that. James Maddison scored the highest out of anyone on that pitch today, and he had 8 minutes plus added time. So 15 minutes he had on that pitch.
That is.
Dejan Kulusevski, the fifth highest. Sonny, the fifth highest, and the rest of them. I mean, look. I'll hold my hands up. I was saying about, someone's come in and on the left hand side, Sonny to go up top. I'm not even saying that anymore. We've seen what we've seen on that left hand side and on that right hand side. The only option that we have now is to play Son. I mean, I'd still probably put Son up top, and another on the left, and Kulusevski on the right. Just goes to show what lack of depth we've got, right? And where do we really go from here, Mikey? Are we saying, guys, you had your chance tonight, that's it, you stay on the bench and you're going to get minimal opportunities, or do you think
with 2 days of the transfer window left, there's not much we can do except tell them to politely sit down on the bench and stick yourself to it for the remainder of the season. It looks like Dyer to Fulham, might be accelerating, which would be a little bit of a godsend. But even then, I was watching Sky Sports, who, I'm not always agreeing with Sky Sports, but they released a 7-minute video on their YouTube channel about the list of players that Spurs have to get rid of. And they were just reading through defender after defender after defender. And it's just, how have we managed to let it get to this point? I mean, I don't get how you can, like, Emerson has been okay, but it reminded me a lot of last season where we had one good defender carrying 4 mediocre defenders, and today you had one mediocre, one brilliant defender carrying 3 mediocre ones. Ben Davis was inconsequential. I don't think he was terrible. He the game just kind of passed him by, and Adama ran him ragged until he came off. As well, Adama runs anyone ragged, but especially Davis,
I mean, look, we saw it, whether it was Adama. I mean, we were both surprised that they took Adama off, but when Harry Wilson came on, it was the same MO, just the same all over again. Davis getting absolutely destroyed on that left-hand side.
Mikey, all I always say, Mikey, is this, and I don't know, I'm interested to know your thoughts on this. What more do we have to learn from Davis, from the likes of Sanchez, from the likes of Skip, from the likes of players that have been here with us for a while now? What more do we need to see from them to expect anything different? They've been part of this teams, in these cup games before, and you mentioned Dyer as well earlier on. They've been part of these sort of games previously. When they all play together, when you get a situation where we play 3 or 4 defenders in the same team, more often than not, we fail. It happened at Forest. It happened at Sheffield United, where these guys seem to get together again, and we fail. Why must we see the same film played over and over again, expecting different results? At the end of the day, we play our best 11 tonight. We go through it and go through comfortably. We didn't. We made a game of it, and now we're out of the cup yet again.
I don't get it. It's like I've lodged the same kind of complaints in my head as you have, that you've just narrowed it down there. You look at our bench, right? Our bench today consisted of Son, Maddison, Kulusevski, Pape Matar, Yves Bissouma, 5 players who were easily our 5 best against Bournemouth, just benched. Right now, that has to go down at the manager's feet, because ultimately, I think I saw a press conference. He released 1 or 2 comments. He said, and I'm quoting here. He said, "How am I going to find out my players? We need to give the players the opportunity to contribute." I think that's it for them. Postecoglou doesn't strike me as a man who goes back on his word. You saw what happened with Ndombele. He gave him 1 chance. It didn't impress, and now he's been completely isolated. You give these players 1 chance to show their mettle, and they fucked it. But the point is, who do we replace them with? Because our second string, we don't have a ready-made second string 11 to come in and take their place. The likes of Forster, Emerson, out behind Romero and Van de Ven, it looks like Sanchez has taken that 3rd choice role. So Sanchez gets onto the bench
after tonight.
Week.
I'm not sure. After tonight, I'm not sure how much how much he can be,
Well,
because this is what Sanchez does. He you know, puts us in a couple of really good worldly performance against Barcelona, and then again Brentford get, you know, thrown in after Romero's injury, and then he's thinking, right, this is my opportunity. And tonight I saw what Sanchez always does, you know, goes back to his same old ways, and it's just frustrating, Mikey. It's frustrating because there was an opportunity for us to go through the next round, and I felt, and I agree, some of these players need to be given the opportunity to state their claim in the team. But I felt that we could have done that in the league games, because worst case scenario, you drop points. You've got other games to then go and make up for them. Tonight, you're in and you're out. You don't get that team selection right, you're out of the cup. You haven't got a second chance at it. And that's where we're at tonight.
What I've seen is, obviously, so either side of the Fulham game, we had Bournemouth and Burnley. Now, no disrespect to those two teams, but obviously after that, we've then got the international break, which gives kind of the club even more. You know, some of these players aren't even going on international duty. Like, it's not like we've got our entire 11 set to go on international duty. You know, a lot of these players won't be touched in their relative squads. And what I like to think is, if the club was taking the cup seriously, because we were promised, I remember a statement was made by one of our club, it might have even been Daniel Levy or Pascal himself, said, I will prioritise the cup competitions. So we actually do something without Europe. And in the end, it hasn't happened again. And I blame this on the multitude of the hierarchical structure at Tottenham, including, but not limited to, Ange Postecoglou and the people who picked the starting 11. And also because we literally played Bournemouth and Brentford. Now, in a league game, you can lose 1 out of 38 and it not be inconsequential if you put in good performances in the other 37. But in the cup, it's one shot. You're in, you're out. You miss it, you're out for another year. We haven't got a chance to win. The only chance of a cup now we have is by some miracle winning the Premier League, which is obviously a far shout. And now the FA Cup, which we have to wait till January for. So we are now stuck in this situation where from now until December, if our league form doesn't befit the nature of a top club playing one game a week, then something's gone wrong, because ultimately it looks like Ange is prioritizing the league in his first season, just trying to get us up into a European place and then kind of maybe build a squad to challenge on cup fronts next year. But why not have a punt this year? Why not? I know the Carabao Cup isn't the most prestigious trophy, but it is a major trophy nonetheless. You know, Man United fans have claimed it's their second coming of Alex Ferguson with winning the Carabao Cup last season. So it is a meaningful trophy. It was our last piece of silverware, for God's sake. 1991 to 2023, 2 trophies. That is awful. And we're suffering the consequences of that yet again. I don't like to lay the blame at a single player's feet, because ultimately the whole team was bad today. But like, literally, you can't phrase it any other way other than Davinson Sanchez has cost us a place in the next round.
I mean, not just Davinson Sanchez. I mean, look, Mikey, like we said, we don't know who was taking that 5th penalty, but you know, for me, you know, your 3rd and your 5th penalty, you put your best penalty takers on it. And at some point, a Davis or a Højbjerg at whatever point didn't step up. Whoever was going to, either one of them was going to take the 5th one. So look, one of them didn't step up to take that 3rd. And you're looking round. I think what you're doing as a manager when he gets to that stage, you're looking round and say, yes, boss, I'm taking it. I'm confident, right? And I don't think we saw that today. No.
I think you saw Sanchez in his mind going, if I score this, it's part of my redemption arc. He misses. I was saying that Sanchez. I was saying that the 5 should be Son, Maddison, Kulusevski, Højbjerg, and Davis. That because they're the 5 kind of Son and Kulusevski for their shooting ability, Madders for his leadership, and then Davis and Højbjerg for their seasoned. You know, I wouldn't expect a Scarlett, a Van der Ven, an Emerson, or certainly not a Davinson Sanchez to step up and take that all-important 3rd penalty, especially when the one previous to that, Harry Wilson's, had come off the bar so emphatically. It just...
I think in a penalty shootout, normally, you know, when they get into a huddle, the question gets asked straight away, first and foremost, who fancies it? You've got your forwards that you want to, you know, you expect them to step up. put their hands up because they have the most confidence with the goal. And then anyone else is like, who fancies taking a penalty? Normally, there are players that will raise their hand and say, right, and then you as a manager just got to select which one you feel are best fit for the play, for the five or however many that get selected. And I feel personally, and I said this to Nick earlier on, that if Sanchez has stepped up, it's because other players either refused or just didn't put their hands up, or just, you get your heads down, or you're just not confident enough to put yourself forward to take it. And I felt that he probably took the responsibility. And, the penalties are missed by those who take it. Those who never take it, they'll never miss. So I just felt that there was a situation there where the other players, you're right, maybe better than equipped than Sanchez, like Højbjerg, the more experienced pros I'm talking about. Emerson, who's not shy of, of showing his technical abilities, is in his reels and in Instagram posts. He's not shy to do that. Then why is he not stepping up to take a penalty? You can argue there's other senior pros who could have stepped up, who are better equipped than Sanchez. But unfortunately, having not had a great game, to have him step up to take the most important penalty, which is one of the third, they're all important, but the third one in particular is a really critical one. He didn't look to have the face or the confidence in his face to go and take it. You can see it from the close-up.
When I heard them say, like the commentators, they're on 5 Live Sports Central Mixture, and it's Davinson Sanchez. Yeah. He would have been at the bottom of my list, and I was like, exactly why? And if he scored, I would have been like, fair enough, he's done this new, but I wouldn't have been emphatically screaming his name if he scored. But he missed. Ultimately, it's another cup exit for Tottenham Hotspur, and now we have to wait until January. And it's just getting. It seems like there is always a Tottenham in Tottenham. I don't get it. I really don't. And
you can take the team out of Tottenham, but you can't take the Tottenham out of Tottenham.
I think once you will. Oh, I've seen someone very, very, very. I'm excited for this one. But once you do see a performance like this, you're going to look at those players and go, right, there's no way. Fraser Forster didn't look like he gave a toss about the penalties. From what I've heard, it looks like he didn't care about trying to save any of the penalties. And ultimately now, with Van der Ven hopefully not being injured, it looks like your doggy Van der Ven, Porro and Romero is going to be our defense going forward. And
the team picks itself.
This kind of reminds me of the Euro 2020 final penalty shootout. It's not obviously the same magnitude, but we had, there was no cohesive kind of I'll step up, like a group that says I'll step up and take this. You kind of left it to whoever volunteered, and we ended up losing because of it. And I just think Davinson Sanchez taking third, whether he was ordered by the manager or literally barged in and said, I'll do it myself. I don't know how he's come to be in that situation.
No, I know, Mikey. Mikey, look, we've got loads of people in the background.
I know.
Thank you for coming on, mate.
Thanks, Mikey.
Burnley away. Are you looking forward to it on Saturday?
They haven't recorded a win yet, and it's at Turf Moor. I don't know. That 1 goal scored, 6 goals conceded. I'm not sure. It depends how this. And also, Richarlison went off with a knock as well, so that might not be good news for us, but we'll see what happens.
I might not be watching that game on Saturday.
Well, maybe it is good news.
Well, maybe it is good news that Richarlison went off injured. Maybe it is good news, but we'll have to see. Mikey,
it's a Saturday 3 p.m. kickoff, so you won't be able to watch it anyway, unfortunately.
Well, I'll be watching it in New York, so I don't know now. Maybe not. I don't want to ruin my holiday, do I? So there you go. Anyway,
I'll be in London, but my IP address will be in New York. Trust me.
Okay, cool. All right, Mikey.
Take care, Mike.
Enjoy the rest of your evening, Mikey.
Guys.
Thanks for coming on.
Mate.
I'll speak to you soon.
See ya.
Cheers, man. Bye bye. Right. Who've we got on next? He looks very downhearted.
Another Michael.
We're going to hear some swearing as well in Polish from this guy. No?
From Poland.
Live and direct from Poland, it's Michael.
Big up, Mike.
Guys, should I just substitute every fuck with kurva, or what are we doing? Like,
oh, Michael.
The floor is yours, mate.
I don't know if you saw my call in before the game with Ben and Sim, but I literally told on the stream that we should treat this game with respect that it deserves, and we should treat the opposition with respect that it deserves. And honestly, we got kurva what we deserved. Like, sorry guys, it's so disheartening because it's yet again, I don't think we lost because the opposition outplayed us in any like considerable manner, in my opinion. I don't know if you guys got the same feeling, but I honestly don't think that Fulham like threatened us that much. It was all about our choice of 11, and I am going to put this on Ange, unfortunately, because I can blame the players however many times I want, year after year after year after year. Every single time we blame the players, right? But I know he has to somehow watch those players play, right? But I would much rather he rotated for Burnley rather than Fulham today. I am so desperate to see us win in a cup that for me this game takes priority over any other game. I don't care if he played North London Derby in the league on the weekend. I would rather field first 11 today and field the rotated squad like on the weekend, right? It's disheartening, boys, in all honesty, because like it's so stupid. After 3 games the honeymoon period is already over, right? You would at least expect it to last a bit more, but it just seems that, listen, we just can't get nice things, I guess, as persons. It's yeah. Yes, sorry, I have to mute Daigle in the back.
Trying to get on. Yeah, I can see him. See him on the other screen. Ready to explode. Ready to explode. But it's okay, Michael.
Definitely.
Michael is fine, right? Because we've got 8 signings coming in before the end of the transfer window on Friday.
And we've got 8 leaving.
And we've got 8 leaving, so we're all right, aren't we?
Yeah, bullshit, mate. We got 2 at best, and one of them is Brennan fucking Johnson. So sorry, Brennan Kurva Johnson. So yeah, it's also I voiced my opinion about that guy too. But listen, I think we just approached this game in a strange way. I think we never should have rotated 9 players. I think.
Why do you feel that he did that, Mike? Why do you feel that he felt the need to do that? I'm trying to think outside my own head and go with Ange Postecoglou's head, if that is even possible. Yeah. But I'm trying to think from his point of view why he felt in an in and out match where 90 minutes you're either in or you're out. Why would he choose tonight and not perhaps a league game or 2 league games further down the line to find out about these players? Why do it on a night where probably the best chance we had of winning any kind of silverware is in fact in this very cup, the Carabao Cup? Yep. Why would he choose to do that tonight? Have you asked yourself that question?
As soon as I saw this lineup, I knew something is cooking up. And you know, it's like everyone can say in hindsight, yeah, of course I knew that we are going to get knocked out. But like that, I felt uneasy after I saw.
I was worried.
Yeah, I felt uneasy after seeing this lineup because I understand the willingness to give some players a chance, right? I understand that he wanted to see Solomon. I understand that he wanted to give Richarlison another chance, right? To prove himself, to show something for him. I understand why he maybe rested Bissouma because he looked really leggy. I understand that he wanted to preserve Maddison, right? Because Maddison is the focal point of this club, right? But I don't understand making 9 changes. I understand making 5 or 6, but I think we should have like done half thing. Like the core should have been there. I have no idea why Romero was rested, right? I have no idea why Pape Matar Sarr didn't start, right? If Højbjerg is going out, he most likely will leave the club in 2 or 3 days. Why the F is he playing, right? He should not be playing this game, and you could clearly see by his attitude in this game that he didn't care.
No.
Yeah, he wasn't interested. Why would he give a fuck about us going out of the cup if he's going to be a United player in 2 days? I guess he will be captain because of that, right? But yeah, it's ridiculous for me. I think we should have fielded a much stronger team, especially because we are playing against Fulham. It wasn't Grimsby Town, or with all due respect to those clubs, right? Or Port Vale, or I don't know, like a club from League Two. It was Fulham. It's a bloody Premier League opposition. I know their start to the season wasn't great, but it doesn't mean that we should disrespect them, right? And I think that this lineup was pretty much a disrespect. Again, I mean that in a way. I don't think that Ange looked at Fulham and said, "Fuck those guys," or those guys are too weak. I can field whoever I want. It's just that with experience that we already have with many of those players in previous years, we should have known that this will turn out the way it did, right? And it's like we can even talk about individual performances, right? We already talked about Højbjerg. He was absolutely useless today. Like the difference in class between Højbjerg and Bissouma is like day and night, pretty much, right? Yeah, night and day and night. Like him, skip, too late for the challenges, not enough energy. Both him and Højbjerg, they have no creativity in them, right? No effing creativity. They don't carry the ball, then they don't pass forwards. Every single time any of them got the ball, it was always pass to the side or pass to the center backs, right? Lo Celso today, I'm not surprised he got hooked after 45 minutes because he was ghosting. He was ghosting in the game, right? Richarlison, I know he scored the goal, but other than that, he wasn't really performing like up to any standard, right? Perisic and Solomon, I didn't get I didn't like feel the fight in them for that left and right wing spot, right? Like they probably know with Sons and Kulusevski's performances that there is maybe a place for them to actually dethrone those two. But after this performance, no way in hell they are displacing Kulusevski and Son, right?
Yeah, I don't think Son and Kulusevski will be losing sleep tonight, or any other player that have been involved in their starting 11 of both Man United and Bournemouth. I don't think none of them will lose sleep over these guys tonight.
Yeah, and then there is defense, right? Davies, like, I mean, I'm not surprised that Adama Traore bullied him because the guy is effing huge. Like he would bully most left-sided defenders, right? Although to be fair to Mickey Van de Ven, he was the only one that actually showed any level in that defensive line, right? And I pray to God he's not injured, because after one of those challenges in the other time, he was limping. I pray to God he's not injured, right? Sanchez, like, do you remember the Robinson like situation in the first half where he got absolutely dribbled by a left-sided defender from Fulham, right? Like, get your act straight. And Royal, he was so slow today. I'm sorry, I know you love Royal, right? But he got dribbled past today. He didn't show me energy. He didn't show me care, right? And
Michael, I know I can't defend him, but when he's in that defense with Davis and Sanchez, and he had Højbjerg and Skip in front of him, they don't help my boy Emerson.
Yeah. Of course, like everyone around that doesn't help, right?
He was poor.
And with Forster, for the game itself, for 90 minutes, I'm actually going to pick him up. I think he was good. But the penalty shootout was fucking atrocious. Oh my God. The guy limp-dicked 5 times to the right side, and every single shot went to his left side. Like, at least dive to the other side once. He literally half-ass threw himself to the right side, like without any intention of saving the ball that wasn't even there. For the penalty shootout, I am absolutely disappointed with him. And Sanchez missing the pen. Listen, he's a defender. He shouldn't be taking a penalty in the first 5 penalties, right?
Yeah,
like we had Son scored, Kulusevski and Maddison, right? I know Scarlett won't be taking a penalty. He is a 19-year-old kid. You shouldn't be putting such pressure on a kid like him, right? But why isn't anyone else? Why isn't Højbjerg taking a penalty? I know that we slated him for not caring, right? But I bet you he's a better penalty taker than Sanchez. Like, it's just as simple as that, right? I think the penalty shootout was atrocious in terms of like how shit Sanchez's shot was and how awful Foster was in that penalty shootout. I am disappointed, guys, because as you said, Iggy, Carabao Cup is probably our best chance to achieve anything in the season other than top 4, right? I think we can fight for top 4 or top 5 if we field our first 11 like every week, right? Because I actually think our first 11 is way better than what we saw today, right? I think our first 11 can actually put up a fight with many teams, right? I'm not saying we are going to win the title, whatever,
No.
but I think it's way better
Hold
than
on.
what we saw today, right? But with FA Cup, many teams treat FA Cup way more seriously than Carabao Cup. And I know that in the latter stages of Carabao, you still have to face Chelsea, Liverpool, City, all those clubs, right? You have to face them anyways. But that doesn't change the fact that Carabao Cup, it's shorter than the FA Cup, and it's also less serious for clubs that win it year in, year out, right? There's a higher possibility of I don't know, like Manchester City or Manchester United going out to a lower Premier League side or a Championship side because they rotate, right, in the early rounds. So I'm fuming, boys. Honestly, I'm fuming after that game. I know maybe I'm not showing this. Usually, I'm swearing much more, but I'm trying to hold. I'm trying to hold it.
Yeah, I'm
hold
disappointed,
myself,
mate.
right?
We're disappointed as well. We're a bit flat tonight.
Yeah, look,
exactly. It's flat, right?
Andrews was asked when questioned about his team selection. He answered, "How am I going to find out my players? We need to give the players the opportunity to contribute
in the league games. Do it in the league games. Don't do it in the match that you're in or out.
Exactly.
We compromised our cup run to allow these players to let you down. I could have told you what kind of performance you were going to get from Davis, Sanchez and Emerson all together in that same back line. It's just, and a one-to-way playing Højbjerg, that Mike just rightly said, that you could have got your answers anyway. But I just felt, why do it now? There was no rush to do it now. You could have done it after the international break. Get to find out. I don't know.
The only reason I can kind of excuse that team selection, and it's really like strawmanning and looking for an excuse, right, is the fact that Burnley game is after the transfer window ends, right? So in a sense, if you somehow still needed to evaluate those players, and again, I'm strawmanning, right? I am looking for something, right?
Yeah.
Burnley is after the transfer window, so if he really needed to assess some of those players in this game, it was the last game he could have done that in, right? But it doesn't change all the criticism that I already said, right? And I still think it's an absolutely atrocious decision, and I'm going to blame him for it, right? There is no backing off. I blamed Conte for fielding that half-ass team against Sheffield in the FA Cup. I blamed Conte for the Nottingham Forest outing in the Carabao Cup last season.
Rightly so.
And I did the same thing with Jose Mourinho. I did the same thing with Pochettino, right?
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
You know those games you're all talking about, Sanchez played in every single one of them. Colchester, Zagreb, Forest.
We knew that, right? We knew that. We knew that. Like Sanchez was the one getting absolutely rinsed by a Sheffield United reserve winger when we lost 1-0 to them in a quarterfinal, right? It was or a round 5 or whatever it was this season, right?
Yeah.
It's absolutely like ridiculous. But again, like, why was he playing? Romero can't handle like 60 minutes. In like Maddison can handle 45. Like, I get it. We played 2.5 days ago. I don't care.
Our midfield all went off against Bournemouth. Our central midfield, all three of them, got substituted after 60, 70 minutes. So, listen, it's only 3-4 games into the season. It's not like we played 35 games and then got a rest.
Exactly,
and now
right?
They could have, and the international break's coming up. So,
it's ridiculous, right? Like, seriously,
it just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't make sense, man. Right?
It's not like we're playing an Arsenal or a Man City or a Liverpool at the weekend. We're playing. No disrespect, we're playing Burnley, right?
I'd rather have made those changes against Bournemouth. You know, if you're really worried about tonight's game and thinking, well, before the transfer market closes, you haven't got, Burnley's happening after, then do it against Bournemouth.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't have compromised or risk compromising the cup game just to allow us to rotate the team. Certainly not with the amount of players that we ended up rotating with. Absolutely not.
Yeah, and
It's hard
just-
for me to get my head around it.
Yeah, and like as I said at the beginning of the calling, right? I don't think Fulham were dangerous today. Like okay, they got some chances, right? I'm not saying that they completely didn't like pose any danger. Of course they did, right? They're a competent team in my opinion. But I seriously think if we fielded our something close to first 11, maybe like rested Bissouma and Madison, let's say, right?
Yeah.
I think if we fielded our
Yeah, you would have
like
got
9 or 8,
okay.
yeah, we would have been 2-0 up in like 60 minutes, and we could have rotated all of them for
Yeah,
Lo Celso's,
100%.
Højbjerg, Skip, etc. And Højbjerg can Skip. Actually, like one thing Højbjerg did good in the previous 2 games was when we were secure, right? When we were 2-0 up, he was okay in like defending the scoreline, right? But he's so useless when it comes to creativity. You went 1-0 down,
And
and there was
concluding.
nothing.
And concluding. In front
He
of goal,
was-
it was awful as well.
Oh yeah, that situation that he wasted. Jesus Christ! I was screaming
I
at
know.
the TV. Bloody hell, that was so useless. But yeah, it's like we should have approached this game differently. And yeah, I know, guys, you have other guests.
Yeah,
right,
yeah, we need
come on.
to crack on, Michael. But yeah, final thoughts.
Kurva, I don't know. Like,
We
I've
go
got
again
plenty.
against
I've got
Burnley.
We go again against Burnley, Michael. Have our
Yeah,
hopes
exactly,
and
we go
dreams
again,
wrecked again for another game.
Yeah,
All right,
it's-
Michael, big
it's
up.
a shame, guys. It's a shame.
Thanks for your call, my man. We'll see you again soon.
Thanks, Mike.
Take care, man.
See you later,
See
man.
ya, boys. Pleasure.
Pleasure, Michael. And who do we have next in the here we go. Huh? Is he ready? Is he steady? It's Brian Daigle.
What's up, people?
Mr. Daigle, good evening.
Evening. Not really good, is it?
Yeah. Well,
Do you know what? Do you know what, Brian? I actually think you're the bad luck charm because every time you go and watch a Spurs game, we lose.
And I think you talk absolute gibberish 95% of the time. So,
when
well,
was the last time you watched us win a game of football, Brian?
when we beat Chelsea,
Okay.
West Ham.
I'm only joking,
Next
mate.
question.
I'm only joking.
Today's
Right.
not a joke. Look, today's not a joke about day, Nick.
Okay.
Today's not a joke about day. I just want to first of all do a few shout outs. Shout out to the Champagne and Skittle crew that think everything is rosy and things are going to be brilliant. Shout out to every single person that said to people like myself, don't worry in June, the transfer window closes on the 1st of September. It'll all be sorted. It'll all be good. Don't worry, this will get done. It's different this time. Big shout out to all you lot, because here we are on the 29th of September. August. Fucking hell, I wish it was September. I'll be going back to Canada 2 days later. I want to say big up to the people that want to blame Ange. Yes, Ange takes some responsibility, but if you do your history, Ange, go check with Celtic fans and go check with other teams. Whenever he went into cup competitions, the most changes he made is 4. 4 in a cup game. How many today?
9.
9. Oh, okay. Europe, yeah, but don't worry about a cup because we've got to get up there and make the money. I'll also say, with these players that simply aren't good enough that we can't get rid of, were they good enough for Conte? Were they good enough for Nuno? Were they good enough for Jose? Were they good enough for Poch? Oh, but no. Let's blame the players. Let's blame this. Let's blame that. And go and accuse every single person that's leaving out that says this every single time because this is now another trophy that we're not going to get. Does Ange take responsibility for certain things? Yes, it's a cup game. He should have taken a bit more. But do not go on about wholesale goddamn changes when in his whole time at Celtic and other teams he makes 4. 4.
How do you explain the 9 changes, Brian? And what is your take on it? You've heard what I've had to say on it. I can't get my head around it still.
Mate, this is the only way I can think about it. It was his final chance to have a look at people before this window goes to get a yay or nay out of them and who he can get out the door. That's the only thing I can think of.
But that's a big risk to do it in the cup game. Why not do it against Bournemouth?
Mate,
I would rather
Mate, we've got to know that doesn't care about the cup, Iggy.
Okay.
I've just said it. 4 changes in Celtic, 4 changes in Japan, 4 changes in Australia. come to Tottenham. We all said, every single Spurs fan said there is no excuse this time with no Europe not to take domestic cup seriously.
Agreed.
So we're in the second round because we didn't qualify for Europe and had our worst league season for recent history. And we're out of it before we normally enter it. But let's blame the manager. Let's blame the players. Let's carry on going on this shit show parade and blame everyone else apart from the common denominator. Let's crack on and do that.
Listen, I feel, I mean, I know you're getting back from the game yourself, and we heard all the away fans, Spurs away fans, loud and clear, even through the headphones. They were amazing. The support was amazing tonight, and everybody that was there tonight deserved a different outcome. It's just, it's just a shame that we've had to get eliminated out of this cup so early on, and now we've got no cup football till January at the very earliest.
It's all good. It's all good. Don't worry. Because we're going to get Europe. We're going to do it. What I will say is, I would probably guess that Sanchez is getting a lot of grief for missing that penalty or taking that penalty. Cast your mind back to the Euros. Sorry, just got onto the main road. Sorry if the cars are making noise. And people like Raheem Sterling and England players didn't have the balls to take a penalty. Where's Højbjerg taking a penalty? Where's these leaders? Where's these guys that have got the mentality and the balls to stick up? Where are they to be seen? So what? Sanchez stacks up. We all knew. Everyone in the ground knew. Everyone watching probably thought, here we go, he's going to miss. He had the balls to stand up and do it.
We said it. We said so many players that we don't know who the last penalty taker was going to be because only 4 of them ultimately took them. But end of the day, you're right. There was other players there with experienced pros, with loads of games, international players as well that didn't step up. So whilst we
Højbjerg stepped up and took a penalty in the Euros for Denmark.
Yeah.
Why are you taking one for now? Man U called in, are they?
Yeah. No, it's hard to argue. It's hard to argue because, as you know, the manager will ask the players first who fancies it, and people will go, put their hands up. But in this case, I don't know how many of them did.
Yeah. I mean, look, they're Højbjerg, Davis. I mean, one of those two would have taken the 5th penalty, I'm guessing. But surely one of them, the other one, should have stepped up and said, "Don't worry, Sanchez. You shouldn't be taking a penalty. I'm taking a penalty."
Exactly. I mean, where is the responsibility? Where is the leadership that we apparently have? Where is the mentality and these strong characters that we have? And a moment comes up to take it something and show a bit of character. And what do? They send up Davinson Sanchez, who gets grief all the time, wrongly as well, the personal abuse and everything.
Yeah.
And he goes up to step up and take it, and now even more crap is going to come his way.
Yeah.
Rather than the leaders.
Yeah, you think someone would have taken him out of this firing line because he had already had a not a great match. Let's be honest. It wasn't his finest performance. So he already wasn't playing well. So already you can imagine the confidence he would have had stepping up to go and take that penalty. Why they felt he would be the chosen one, and certainly what was it, the 3rd penalty? Well, an important. Yeah. They all put important penalties, but the 3rd one's quite critical, and
especially when you're taking 2nd, right?
Yeah, and also but like you said, the players that miss them are the ones that take them. The ones that never take anything don't miss absolutely nothing. And you're right.
Exactly. And then you look at it. Mickey van der Ven was the only decent player.
I think
now I'm hearing he's picked up an injury.
Yeah.
But don't worry. We only need 1 centre back. Don't worry. We have till the 1st of September. Don't worry. It's all in hand. It's all being taken care of, people.
Something tells me Daigle's pushing his flight back.
mate, listen, fucking, did you know what? I obviously get a lot of grief coming my way. Other people get a lot of grief coming their way. And still, here we are at another window. Days remaining. Need to get the shit that we've needed to get out for years. They're still here, funny enough. Players are needed to come in. We said we're 1 injury away from a defender. and then we're back to these.
Yeah.
And if this injury to Van der Ven, I don't know how serious it is. I've just seen it in the chat and on Twitter. If he's out and we don't bring in a defender, because remember, we got till the 1st September, loads of time to sort this. We're back to Romero and Dyer, Sanchez, Davies, Tanganga. And now we probably will have to keep one of them if he's injured.
Yeah.
But don't worry, it's all good. It's all good. 1st September, it's all good. Let's blame the manager for picking 9 players, even though every single cup game, go do your research, he chooses 3 to 4. These players that have been crap for all the other managers, go do your research, and you've watched it long enough, they're not to blame, or the players can be to blame, but them not still being here, still fucking being here.
So Brian, just to reiterate, are you suggesting that Postecoglou was forced to play?
Mate, well, let's put it this way. What would you say, Iggy, if I said to you at every single other game, when other club he's been at, when he's done cup games, the most he's made is 4 changes.
Yeah.
His first domestic cup game for Tottenham, and all of a sudden there's 9 changes.
Yeah, that's something.
Does a man change his habit for all his career and go, oh, all of a sudden, I fancy a change of heart?
No, I agree. Listen, when you see 8, 9 changes, that normally happens in pre-season football, non-competitive football, where we're trying these players out. I find it. I said it earlier on to Bat. I said I can't get my head around it. I've never seen it in competitive football, in a cup game, an important knockout game, where you see this amount of changes. Normally, you see those changes when there's nothing to play for. But to do it
Put
now,
the players out in the shop window. Go make the man some money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they weren't going in the shop
not
window.
Man City,
They were going.
we're not
They were
Man
going.
City.
They're
We
going in
make
the
no
chat.
changes.
They're going in the charity shop window. They're not going in the shop window.
But don't worry, the contracts are going to be ripped up. That's happening as well, isn't it?
Yeah, after the Saudi transfer window shuts, maybe, because we're hoping.
Oh,
that
that really
someone will come along
benefits.
and get our
I'm so happy. We're going to rip up contracts after. How lovely of us to care about the Saudi Arabian market and leaving them with options. Heaven forbid we would think about Tottenham Hotspur and their domestic market.
Yeah.
Heaven forbid we'd want to make our team better. But no, we'll rip up contracts after no one else can buy more players. But yes, let's blame everyone else.
Brian, look, for me, we've got 3 or 4 people still in the back. But for me, the support tonight was fantastic.
Yeah,
as always.
As always.
I can see Ryan trying to poke his head in the top there.
Big up Ryan.
I think
Ryan.
I think we probably actually heard Ryan at one point over the mics.
I'm telling you.
Well,
I guarantee when you hear We Are Tottenham TV's once it's uploaded, end of when they do the if you go and listen to their match day or their full-time analysis, you'll hear Ryan absolutely fucking livid recording something for Tottenham on tour.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you couldn't hear him in the studio.
No, listen, tonight felt like large parts of the game actually felt like a home match.
Yeah.
But it was probably better. I mean, the crowd, I hardly heard the Fulham fans. It was more so the Spurs fans, large periods of that match.
Mate, I'll tell you the funniest thing with that. I'll tell you the funniest thing before I go. At half-time, they brought out Timothy Castagna. When they unveil a new player, they brought out Castagna. It was dead silent. Dead silent. You could hear that. I was like, they said, "Oh, everyone wave. He's going off the pitch." I was like, I thought he was coming on the pitch. It was so quiet. The Fulham were dead, atmosphere-wise. The Tottenham faithful, the people that do the away days, the people that travel the length and breadth of this country, once again, have gone to support the team on their quest to finally win some silverware. And guess what? It's not even September, and we're out of a cup.
Always let you down. We are, unfortunately.
But Champagne and Skittle crew, big up, revel in the glory. Big up the Champagne and Skittle crew and everyone that thinks everything's rosy. Big up to you.
Brian, try and chill it, calm down tonight, mate.
Safe journey home, lads.
I've got him on the calm, and I'll keep him calm. Yeah,
that's what I'm worried about, Ryan.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm in trouble if Ryan is going to try and keep me calm. Listen, guys, enjoy the show. And as always, Levy out.
Oh, dear.
Man alive. These guys, it's even more disappointing to go all that way. I know Fulham is not a million miles away, but it's still an away game on a Tuesday night. Full voice. come away empty-handed. That's it. That's a hard one to take, man.
It is. And look, we're going to hear some more facts from the next person, and it's Brains McLeod. Big up, Brains.
How you doing,
What's
man?
cracking? You guys hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you all right, man.
Spurs in that away shirt was cracking tonight.
Oh my god, man! It didn't even turn out to be vaginal pink. It was just absolutely
Very fitting tonight because we got effed.
Yeah, we got spunked on as well. Right? Let's keep it going with those references. We got spunked on. We got told they had one in the pink, one in the stink, and then what their fingers looked like was our kits. That's what happened tonight.
Oh man!
I mean, that took a bit of a darker turn than I wanted to go. Yeah,
Brains, the floor is yours,
kids
mate.
are crying.
Yeah, the floor is yours, mate. What'd you make of tonight? Starting with the lineups
I'm still trying to figure out through all
What'd you make of these 9 changes, man? I've been asking everyone tonight because I can't work it out what the thought process was.
Look, honestly, man, I want to sit here and blame everything on Levy. Of course I do. But look, you just don't do what Ange did tonight. You just don't.
Agreed.
Like, you don't do it. Like, you cannot be a professional manager and go into a cup game at any level when you know you're going up against a pro team. You know you're going up against a prem team who you look at their squad. They could easily have put two teams out. Like they've got 2 11s in their squad, and that would easily be mid-table. Both of their 11s, they could easily be mid-table. Like, but we would easily handle if he did only make 3 or 4 changes. I said on Dave's show earlier, I said if he makes more than 2 changes, then it's going to be a 1-1 game and we're going to go out on pens. Like, we are not the team where you can mess with our back line. You can't take Romero away from Van de Ven at this point. You just can't do it. You can't put winger fullbacks next to them that they aren't on their level. You can't do it. We're just going to get killed. Like, the amount of times that VDV had to save Davies from being ripped apart. It was just, but look, you could go on about the players and the quality. For me, like, we learned so many frustrating things. Like this, for me, the thing was like, if you make all these changes, the risk to reward ratio is too great. It's far too great. Like the risk is put these 9 players on. What do we gain by this? Right? Say they all had amazing games. Like, oh, then Ange is a complete legend. That's not big enough reward that you could bank on, right? Like, if it goes bad, now everyone hates Emerson again. Now everyone hates Solomon. Everyone thinks Solomon was a bad. Of course, but we knew that already, right? So I'm talking about new things. Now everyone can see that Gio is nowhere near Madison's level as the backup creative guy. So now what we're going to do with him? We're not even trying to sell him. So it's so many bad things. Now you see Perisic cannot start a game. He's good at coming on. He can't start a game. If he doesn't have Udoji, he doesn't have anyone really that's good enough to go around him. It's just, but I don't understand how that manager can see them all in training and not see that. Like, how are you, like, so for me, what I genuinely can't understand is how could that, like, why did Ange throw this game? So then if Levy has forced him to play players because we're trying to sell them, okay, I kind of understand that. But then if you're me, then you're looking at Ange going, I'm only making these changes because I want to win the game. I'm not making the changes to give players a game. I'm making the changes because I want to win. I love winning. All that's bullshit. Like,
I agree.
Don't bullshit us. Don't lie to us. Just say, look, before the game, if he said, look, we need to rotate players. Some of these players are leggy. We need to see everyone. Like, now if he comes out and goes, how am I going to see players if I don't rotate them? Fair enough. Say that before the game. Like, don't give us this bullshit of like, I'm here to win. I die to win, and then go and do that. Because we are a team that are dying for a cup. We don't care about the Prem this season. We're giving you that. Fuck around. Fuck around. Have all the fun you want this season in the Prem. Burnley, make 9 changes against Burnley. I do not give a shit. I don't care about the
What was I
game
saying
after.
before?
This game, the cup games, do not mess around in the cup games. So for me, it's first strike. It's a first strike for him. He's got 3. It's a first strike. Like, and I don't care about people say, oh, you're not going to back the manager. I am backing the manager. Of course I am. And I love the style of football he plays when he's got 11 players who can play it. He doesn't have 18, 19 players who can play it.
Agreed.
So then you can't make these changes. Either force the club to buy the players that you need to continue playing and rotating, or don't make the changes. Don't throw us. Don't throw the game. You can't tell me that with all those players there that Sanchez steps up. Are you still going to tell me that managers are not having anything to do with picking pen takers? That Sanchez is going to step up and overrule other players? Say, no, it's all right, Hobby. I'll take this one. You're trying to tell me Højbjerg isn't saying he wants to take a pen? Are you kidding me? Like, do not BS me like that. Like, it's stupid. He has been pushed forward to take that pen. Like, I'm sorry. There's no way he takes that pen. You know, like, there's no way. I can see that he's been told to take the pen, because if he scores that pen, it gets all these fans back on his side. It saves it's, you know what I mean? It's a romantic thing. It saves the day. You missed the pen, and now where are we at? We're all saying Sanchez lost us the game. Sanchez didn't lose us that game. He's dreadful. We knew he was dreadful. He didn't lose us the game. He's just another problem that we have. But don't make him take a penalty. So for me, the whole demeanor of Ange, that whole game, 45 minutes, he brings on Dane Scarlett instead of just bring on Madison. Just bring on make 4 more changes in the 60th, 70th minute, and bring all the good players on. It looked a lot better, right? You saw, like,
yeah,
Madison
of course it
came on
did.
and
Madison, in that 15 minutes, the 10 minutes he played, 10 minutes plus injury time, was more effective than some of the others have played 60, 70, 80 minutes. And that shows you the levels of between the first 11 that plays and the others that showed up tonight. Those players tonight that played, that tried to make a claim to get in the starting lineup for the future games, have just completely forget it. They're out of it. They've just confirmed what we kind of already knew. I was more interested to see the likes, perhaps, of Solomon, players that I know not as much. But I'm not going to learn anything from seeing Davis. I'm not learning anything from Sanchez, Emerson, Skip. I'm not learning anything new by seeing them on the pitch again. For me, I said it to Nick before, I was worried with the amount of changes. I've never seen that. Normally you see nine changes in a preseason match, or in a match that where you've already, I don't know, come out of the groups and you want to save yourself, as in you've gone through the groups and you've got a meaningless match. Then you make those changes to safeguard your first 11. But to do it in a match that, like you said, we got international duty in in a couple of weeks' time. Why not stick to the same 11? Make a couple of changes where it needs to be made. Just bring in Lo Celso because Maddison hadn't trained much leading up to the Bournemouth game, and not compromise. And I said it's about do it again in the league game, because in league games you lose one match, you got other matches to make up the points. Here you're in or you're out. That's it, finished. Carabao Cup is over for next. We're not even in September, and it's over before we've even started. And it's a shame now because we've got nothing now. We've got league games right up until January. That's it, and it's frustrating, mate.
It's like, read the room, man. Just read the room. I get, like, he strikes me as someone who is very strong-minded, right?
Yeah.
That he will do what he needs to do. This was not that. This was like, oh, I'm just gonna throw a game. I'm gonna throw a game. Like, that for me is throwing a game. When you bring a 19-year-old on at halftime, forcing yourself to go in a 4-4-2 for the first time in your fucking career, like, what are you doing? It makes no sense. You can't tell me, oh, yeah, sorry, I got the inside thing for the ear. What's that, Levy? Yeah, cool. Bring Dane Scarlett on and go 4-4-2, yeah? It's not realistic. It makes no sense at all.
It's all improvised. All improvised. It was all improvised.
He's made these decisions, and these decisions are hideous. It's like, if you're forced to make these bad decisions in game with this team, then just bang, five changes. Get all the good players on, and let's just see what happens from there. It's like, for me, it's like he just didn't seem like he wanted anything to do with that game or anything to do with this tournament. Like he wanted out of the Carabao Cup, and I don't get it.
No,
Like that's our shot. FA Cup and Carabao Cup is our shot. I'd rather take 10th, 11th, 12th and win either title. Like it doesn't make any sense to me. He's just not read the room. But he's going to say, I want to win. Mate, I want to win every game. I want to win every game. I want to win every game. It's like, just think for a second and don't talk like that. You don't talk down to fans saying you just want to win every game. You're a professional manager. We understand if Levy is putting pressure on. We understand that we're in a shop window. We understand these things. If you want to give players runouts, we understand that. Don't tell us like, oh yeah, no, I'm going to try to win every game. You know, like, no, I'm making changes to win the game. I'm going to put Dean Scarlett on to win the game. It's like, no, you're not. You dumb motherfucker. You are not. You're doing this deliberately. Like, the kid is not ready. How many chances? Like, he had really, really nice little chances through balls, and he was on his back foot. He's not got that burst of pace yet. He's not ready for the level. You can see it a mile away. Now you've just confirmed that for us. So what do we do with Dean Scarlett now? What do we do with Solomon now? Now we've got wastes of space again. So there was no reward to making these decisions. You got to be a little bit more clinical in how you're doing things. And yes, his league form is untarnished, and I'll keep supporting. You know, I'll support him as long as he's got these 11 players. Once someone gets injured, we're in shit's creek.
And that's just it. We're literally one injury away. You're right. I mean, tonight I don't know at the moment. I'm worried now about Van der Ven. He picked up an injury, saving our ass from a counter attack, conceding a counter attack in the last minute because we was all caught out of position. He got smashed by Jimenez. Now we don't know how long he's going to be out. Hopefully, it's nothing serious. Richarlison went off, limped off as well. It's just a shit night. I mean, it's just a shit all that night. And people in the chat were saying, don't go in on Ange. I'm sorry, man. I'm going to go in on Ange because I'm going to praise the manager when he does right. But how can I not go in on Ange tonight when he's literally, like you said, I called it self-sabotage. That's the words I used. You're saying you threw away the game. Yeah. Similar sort of thing, sort of reaction, really.
I say, like, as a fan, you have to move every minute with the emotion of how you're feeling, right? Like, don't be a cuck. Don't do that to yourself. Don't sit there going, "Oh, I'm going to support Ange through all of it, every single bad decision he makes." No. He doesn't need that. Do you think he wants you thinking of him like that? He doesn't need that. He's a grown man, big boy pants. He's got them on. He's fine. Like, you can criticize bad management. He will come away from that tonight going, I messed up big time. I put my hands up. I messed up big time. Like, there's no way a human could have a single brain cell and think that he did like the right things tonight. Like, he'll learn, but it's annoying for us that we have to see another manager come in and learn slowly that this player's garbage, this player you can't rely on. It's painful for us because we've been through it so much. But it's just like, for me, it's like, the balloon of positivity that was rising has been popped, and I don't think he should have risked that tonight. I think he should have kept on winning, and he would have built some beautiful, monstrous thing.
Even more so when there was no need to do it. No need to do it. You had no injuries, you had no issues. Why rock that boat? Why pop that balloon when there was no need to do it? That's the thing I'm struggling with tonight.
You know what? If he wanted to like try something out and like make big changes and just try something out, then put Phillips in, put Dorrington in. Like, let's see some of these kids. These kids, I feel, would have like put their heart and souls on the line because they would have like known like this is our shot. You know what I mean? Like, these are kids who we know like we're really looking forward to seeing. Solomon is like, I'm in this team. Like, Solomon to me didn't do anything like wrong. He just didn't do anything right. It just didn't look like he wanted the ball. Mikey was totally right. Lo Celso, this is do you really care? Do you really want in this team? Because for me, he hid. He ghosted and he hid. He didn't want the ball. He didn't want to get on the ball like Madison looks like he wants the ball every minute of his waking life. Like, Lo Celso isn't that guy. And that's annoying because I really rated him. I did want to see him, but now I'm just like, get him out. Just get him out. Højbjerg, for me, he wasn't like bad. He just can't do anything. Like it's like when you're watching Basuma and you're watching Sarr and Madison and the way they work. To take that away and then put on Skip, who's limited as the first 10, 15 minutes, you're like watching Skip going, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? He's just running into trouble. His brain isn't computing. It's like, oh my God, I have to try to do something crazy here. It's like, dude, you can only simply pass the ball back inside. Just do that. Just do that then. Because it is painful watching you trying to do anything else. Højbjerg, we just had nothing. That whole first half, where was Angeball? Like, where was Angeball? On the whole first half, it was set back at Fulham and it was Conte ball.
That first 45 minutes was Conte ball.
They don't have the characteristics to serve the player the way of football that they want to play. Højbjerg was literally inside the box to take a shot and hit the advertising board with the goal at his mercy. I don't know, man. It just looked to me, I didn't see. You're right. Basuma and Maddison, apart from being good players, they have personalities, Brians. They have personality to want the ball, even under pressure. They say, "Give me the. If I'm asking you for the ball, give me the ball." These guys here, you're right. They were hiding. Højbjerg looked disinterested tonight. Is someone that he said to me, the way I perceived it is someone that wants away. He's looking to move on, and his head's been turned. And other players just listen. I don't want to hear anymore. Listen, play Perisic instead of Son. I don't want to hear Kulusevski's been rubbish. Give Solomon a chance. You see tonight the difference, how it drops.
Oh, the level between Kulusevski and Solomon was exposed straight away.
Come on. And if you're a Fulham player standing in the lineup in the tunnel, and you're looking to your right, and you see if you had met the 11 of Spurs that played against Bournemouth and Man United, you think to yourself, I need to raise my game tonight. Yeah. But then you see a completely new team next to you, you're thinking, you know what, I'm fucking going at you lot tonight. I'm actually gonna go at you. And they didn't give us that. If you notice, they didn't give us time to settle. They were pressing because they knew the mistakes were always there.
Yeah.
And you give the belief, you give the team a belief that they can, you know what, tonight we're in a good battle tonight. It's a shame. It's a shame.
Man, so frustrating. Anyway, I know you guys got like really good guys coming on, so I'll step up. That's my 2 cents anyway. Like, look, man. Like as always, like I obviously do. For me, I don't want to jump to blame Levy on everything because my baseline is blaming him. So I think everyone knows that. Like, of course, my baseline is blaming him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it makes no sense for me just to say, oh, it's Levy. Like, Levy's fault that everyone other than the 11 players that are decent are shit. Like, but that for me is like goes without saying. It's like we know that.
It's a good one.
But like, for me, it just was not worth risking making 9 changes unless the changes were going to be some of the kids from, let's see them. If he said that, look, we've got some real standout talents coming through this youth academy. I want to see them in the cups.
Yeah.
Maybe we'd be going, you know what? Fair enough. I actually like that idea, but he's not saying that, So for me, it's just like it's kind of killed some of like the stuff he says. And at first, I was like in the presses, I was like, I really like this guy. He's such a straight shooter. It's kind of. I'm starting to feel a little bits of bullshit coming out, like, don't just give me the club line. Don't just give me he's sitting there going, I've gone viral with a couple of my speeches and stuff. Everyone thinks I'm this inspirational guy. Like, of course we know that about you, but don't just tell us BS, like, I'm going to try win every game. I'm making changes to win the game. It's like, you bring on a fucking 19-year-old kid and go 4-4-2. Just don't do that. Just don't talk down to us. We understand the game. Don't talk down to us, So I think the bit of the positivity balloon that I was on, it's been deflated. It's now like I'm waiting to see. All right, well, let's see what happens now. No, I don't feel like this is an invincible, strong team. I don't feel like, do we have what it takes to go into any kind of challenge of like top 5? I kind of don't, because now I think we're a couple injuries and it's all gone to shit, So it's kind of left me deflated rather than like, this should have been like, easy win, but damn, let's keep the happy train going. Let's forget all the Levy shitness at the club, and let's kind of just be happy for one single time. And that's what he could have capitalized on tonight. The good faith that he's got from the fans, the stuff he's brought, That's what he could have capitalized on. And the fact that he hasn't is a massive, massive mistake. So that's my 2 cents. Sorry, guys. I don't want to leave it too dark and dreary.
That's
but
all right.
We
It ended
we
better
did
than it
just get
started.
punted out of the Carabao Cup.
I know, man. The feeling is the same. We completely get your take on it. We feel that disappointing as well, mate.
Anyway, I'll let you guys go. You got some
Nice one, Brains.
Big up, Brains.
Big up, mate. Take care.
See you guys soon.
See you later.
See you soon, man. Big up, Brains. Big up, Brains. Well, that started a little bit
disagree,
weird, but it ended in the right way. It didn't start was the way I was thinking it was going to start, but there you go. Right, here we go. The next person, Captain Caps Lock, Sir Scream-a-Lot. He's going to be explosive. I think he's going to be worse than Daigle, this lad.
I got excited because you said, here we go. And I thought, well, we announced a new signing. But
Look at him. He's got like some smart jacket on as well. He's looking smart. It's late in Amsterdam. It's Mr. Danny Kiriakou.
big up.
How you doing, guys?
Good.
How you
Well,
doing,
how are
boys?
you doing,
Love to
Danny?
say
I'm ready for your explosive rant, mate.
I was more explosive earlier on, but I've just kind of calmed down a bit now. But no, look, do you know what? It's tonight. I think the biggest person who's made the biggest mistake is Ange. I think look, everyone's discussed it. Everyone's kind of said what everyone is thinking, right? Why the fuck has he made 9 changes today? Like, what in your right mind like Brain just said, why would you change 9 players, right? And then tell the fans, oh yeah, we're going to try and make changes to win the game. I thought that he was going to go make 2 or 3 changes at maximum, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, Iggy, that right now this team was in a little momentum, was building slowly, right? You could see something happening. Why completely disrupt that and blow it up and change nearly the whole bloody team, right? What the fuck is the point in doing that? It's for me, right? Look, you can't. It's as much as like you want to blame Levy. I think Levy is partly to blame for this as well. I don't think it's just all on Ange. I think Ange is probably tonight for his decisions. He could have had the balls to actually kept the same 11 for whatever reason he didn't do it. I think there's definitely like Brian said, right? He's never made more than 4 or 5 changes in a cup match, right? In it from his first 11 that he usually picks, right? So why all of a sudden he's making nearly a whole team change, a whole first 11 changing? What in your right mind would you do that, right? Do you know what? As soon as I saw that team sheet tonight, I knew that we weren't going to win tonight. I knew it. And I was even saying on some of the shows before, if we go to penalties, we're finished. We're done. I knew it straight away. I knew it. And then as soon as you see fucking Davinson Sanchez walk up, right, that's what pissed me off even more. Why it pissed me off, right, is the fact that that guy, right, and look, it's not his fault he took the penalty, right? He is the worst player on a football in our club. And they've allowed him to go up and take a penalty in a high-pressured moment like that, right? When you've got players like Højbjerg and other players who can bloody well go and take a fucking penalty better than he can, right? And they let him go and do it so that he can take the flack if he missed. And they were like, oh, they're in the background and no one knows about it. It just, do you know what, right? This club's got a bunch of pussies in it, honestly. I'm fucking fed up with it, right? Like, honestly, if we have one injury to that first 11, everything capitulates. Everything. Just imagine, right? Look at that squad tonight, right? I'll tell you what. The squad that played against Man United. Take Mickey van der Ven out and put Ben Davies in that back line. It's completely different. Completely different. We cannot play the same way we can play with Mickey van der Ven in that team, for example. He was probably the best player on the pitch tonight. He was trying to do absolutely everything himself. And it was unfortunate for the own goal, right? But let's be honest, the guy who caused the goal was Sanchez. He looked like he wasn't even on the pitch. He looked like he was like trying to do a 360 twirl and stuff, or like he was like dancing on the pitch. He's like dancing on ice, Bambi on ice again. Literally, what the hell was he doing? He was just spinning around like, where am I? Where am I? What am I doing? Like, what is wrong with these players? Like, I'm honestly, there has to be a reason, right, deeper than what we're being shown for why Ange Postecoglou chose to change 9 players today. There has to be a bigger reason why. I'm sorry, there's no manager in their right mind, right? Yeah, who's actually got a brain, because it does look like Ange has got a brain on him, right? It looks like he knows his football. It looks like he knows what he's doing in terms of motivation, tactics, right? It does look like he knows what he's doing, right? But to do that just goes to show there's something more to it. Whether that's his incompetence or naivety, right? for me, I believe there's something a lot more to it, Iggy.
But look, for me, and I'm going to use something that Brian said earlier on. He said, look, if you want to make the changes. We know that Levy's probably put a little bit of pressure to try and use this as a window, as a shopping window for players. And we understand that. Nobody's stupid here. We understand all of that. But then, and I agree with what Brian said, don't sell it to us. Try and make it out. We're going to, we play games to win. We go out there to win games. On that basis, and listen, at any level of football I've been involved with, to make 9 changes, you do it in 2 scenarios. One, in the World Cup, when you've gone through already and you've got 1 game to play and you don't want to risk injuries and you've changed your complete team, nothing to play. If win, lose or draw, it doesn't matter. You're through to the next round. Or you do it in pre-season, where you're giving everyone 45 minutes and then you're making all these changes and so forth. That's the only time I've seen it. In a competitive league game or in a cup game where you're in or out, you don't make that many changes.
No,
and not think for a minute that making these amount of changes can cost you the qualification, which ultimately it has done tonight. There's absolutely no way that thought process hasn't gone in mind. So I'm all for it. Under pressure, he's got to make the changes. He's got to put players on shop windows, what have you. This is the last opportunity he has. Then I'll say, do you know what? Do it against Bournemouth, because then, worst case scenario, if we lose points, we can make them up along the way. Yeah, with games to go. But in a cup game that we should be taking seriously, and our best chance of probably success, you've compromised it by doing this, and then telling it to us by saying to us, we're going to win. We're playing to win. Don't do that, man.
Iggy, it literally makes no sense whatsoever. I just don't. Honestly, it makes no sense why he would have done that tonight.
That's why tonight I say to him, it's his. I have to blame him tonight.
Do you have to blame him, right? But look, he's to blame for tonight. 1,000,000% he is to blame for tonight, because if there was an underlying issue or underlying reason why he did those changes, that's up to him to still make that decision to play those players and to make the substitutions that he made in the game, right? And again, the substitutions today were completely wrong. Like, he should have brought on the players as soon as he started seeing it. Even in the first half, I would have gone, do you know what? Fuck this. I'm putting on my first teamers right now. Bring on Maddison. Bring on the whole lot, right? Get Emerson off. Get Sanchez off. Get them all off. Put Romero on. Just get them on, because that was it. For me, I in my head, right, after watching what Fulham did to Arsenal, right, at the Emirates, right, there was no way we were winning that game unless our full team were playing. No way in hell. No way in hell, right? We had to play the full strength 11 for us to even have a chance of beating Fulham at Craven Cottage, because they're not a pushover. They're a good team. They've got some good players in their team, right? Look what they did to Arsenal. Arsenal were one of the best teams in England last year, right? So I don't buy this. Like, why Ange thinks that those players could have done a job tonight. I mean, who knows? Who knows if it is the naivety in him? But do you know what? The only positive I can take from tonight is I hope that now just that one game proves to Ange those players he cannot trust. He cannot trust for any time this season as a collective, as those players as a whole, to play in a game. Maybe 1 or 2 you can bring in and out of the team, like Lascelles. So he was again awful tonight, right? Look, it's
when was the last time we won a game with Emerson, Davis and Sanchez all in the same team? When was the last time we won a game?
I don't even know when we last won a game with those players. I mean, look, I just hope Mickey van der Ven's not injured, because for me, he's been probably one of our best players this season. It looks like, again, like people keep saying, oh, look, we've got Maddison now, we've filled Ericsson, but it's exactly the same situation, right? As soon as you take Maddison out, we can't pass a ball, we can't string anything together. It's the same situation as before. Nothing's changed. All we've done is we finally replaced Ericsson. But then what happens when Maddison's injured or when Maddison is out of the team? But look what happens. This is what happens. This is exactly what happens. We can't even string 2 passes together. We look like we're playing Conte ball tonight. Like, it was ridiculous. And this is what I get so annoyed by the fan base, right? Because I've seen so many fans bigging up all these players. Look at what we're doing with Ange. And I'm like, yeah, it's good, right? But calm the fuck down. Like, what? Literally, calm the fuck down. Like, this is what you're going to see tonight. You're going to see shit like this all season, because We do not have a strong enough squad, and I keep banging on about this because people keep saying, "Oh no, we've done enough. It's all right," but it's not. As soon as you take out one of those players,
drop Son, play Perisic, drop Kulu, play Solomon.
Do you know what, Iggy?
How many times have we been hearing this?
Iggy, do you know what? Right, I'm not even joking. Tonight I realized
the levels, man.
Do you know what? Tonight I realized, and I know, look, Kulusevski hasn't been playing well this season. I know he's got a goal and 2 assists or something so far this season. So that's not bad in numbers wise, but his overall play has not been great. But after him coming on tonight, it actually goes to show the level of how much we actually need Kulusevski playing. Like, for me, I was like, Jesus Christ, the drop in the level was madness. I was like, and this is someone who I like Kulusevski, right? But I can clearly see that the last year he hasn't been good, right? But you can just see the drop in the level.
We got. He's the best option we got.
But that's worrying. That's worrying, Iggy. And Tottenham fans are sitting there talking like Brennan Johnson's going to be our fucking saviour, like he's Gareth Bale or something. I mean, if we sign Brennan Johnson for £50 million, I swear to God, this club is finished. It's finished. Right? Brennan Johnson is a bang average player, and I do not want to see Tottenham sign him for £50 million. Do not, because if people think that he's going to be the answer to our solutions, just look at what we did in the defense tonight, right? That's where still the biggest problem lies, in that defense. We can't do anything defensively. If Porro and Van de Ven, Romero and Udogie are not playing. If they're not playing, we're useless. We're absolutely useless at the back.
We need a centre-back and a striker, 2 quality players.
That's exactly what I would go for, Iggy. Centre-back and a striker. For me, yeah, Richarlison again tonight, right? Apart from his goal and his stupid advert he did for the kits today, right? For those disgusting kits, right? I'm sorry, all I see is him doing this stupid little pigeon, this stupid little pigeon thing, right? To advertise the kit, and the guy can't even score goals, right? And tonight he scored a goal, but what else did he do the whole match? He was useless. He was absolutely useless. He couldn't control the ball. He couldn't pass the ball. He couldn't do anything, right? And again, it's not enough. It's just not enough. He's not offering enough to the team, right? As what he should be doing. If he's not scoring goals, he should be creating. He should be at least pressing a lot more. He should be doing a lot more than what he's offering. And this is the biggest worry for me, because what happens, Iggy, if we're all relying on Son now to be our striker? What happens if Son's injured? Then what? We're gonna have Dane Scarlett as our striker for the rest of the season. I mean, it's honestly it. Oh yeah, we're gonna another 19-year-old who's got no Premier League experience. It's just honestly, it's just unbelievable the way that fans think that we're in a good state at the moment. We just sold Harry Kane, and people think that things are going to be all rosy. I mean, it's madness, absolute madness. Like I don't even know. For me,
and breathe, Danny.
Barry, Nick, I am just praying that we can manage to sign 2 or 3 players in the next couple of days. Because if we don't,
Brennan Johnson, Clement Longley.
No, don't. I don't want to see Brennan Johnson come through the door.
All I know now is Danny's just about to go out and deliver a load of milk tray in Amsterdam. The way that he's dressed, Mr. Milk
I'm in my work shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
But look, I don't want to take too much of your time up because I know there's Jory's still in the back with KPV. But look, final thoughts for me for tonight. I kind of expected it after seeing that team sheet. I think we need a few more signings. We need another kind of Van der Ven-esque type of defender. And what I mean by that is we need another big type of modern-day centre-back, quick, who's strong. Look, Tosin is out there. He's ready. Go and get him. I would play him in a heartbeat in this team, I think, over all of those centre-backs. I mean, Romero's been good this season so far, and long may it continue. But we need a striker as well. I think they're the 2 positions. If we go for another winger, I mean, it's just I don't even know what this club is thinking anymore. And look, Højbjerg as well. It's just another one skip, another one useless. We've got too many bang average players. That's what Alex Davis always like saying. Bang average, bruv. Bang average, bruv. Right? But do you know what? Look, we have to just wait and see what happens. But I'm not expecting much, to be honest with you. So I'm just going to say to Tottenham fans, don't expect anything this season, because we are not going to do absolutely anything for the season. I think I'd bite your hand off to finish in the top half this season. Honestly, the way that this we're going at the moment, because we cannot sustain that football for the rest of the season, just to rely on those 11 players, because one or two of them, if not three, are going to get injured at some point, and we're going to have to rely on the Sanchez's, the Davises, the Lo Celsos, the Solomons, and then what? What's going to happen then? Like, I don't even know. But look, let's see what I want to hear what Jory has to say as well. So I'm going to let you guys go.
Nice one, Danny.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah,
Well, thank
anyway,
you, Danny.
yeah, boys,
All
have
right,
a good
mate.
evening.
See
Take
you
it
later,
easy,
Danny.
boys.
See you later.
See you later. The streets of Amsterdam are safe because the milk tray is being delivered. Talking about delivered, I wonder how much wine the next guest has gone through. He likes his wine.
Likes the vino.
He likes the
There
vino,
you go.
and it's
The glass
empty.
is empty.
So he's
It's
done it,
empty, guys.
and it's Jory. Big up, Jory, man.
Oh,
Hey, guys.
Jory. We need a wise head.
Come
We
on,
need
Jory.
a
Yeah,
Give us
well-
some wise words.
wise head. And how do you explain tonight, man? What is your mindset of
Well,
the 9
tonight-
changes and the game itself?
exactly. I mean, tonight's been a new chapter in the story that's Tottenham Hotspur. That's for sure.
Not a great one.
Yeah, not a great one, no. And to be honest, I kind of feel like, first of all, I want to start off with this is my fear with Ants. It's like you can see, I would say rightfully, but even some of our clever heads here, like Danny, like Brains, and so on, Brian Daigle, and so on. You know, we don't have the patience for this, especially not with a cup scenario. You know, so that's where the Ants, Ants lack of high level kind of cachet is going to maybe give him less time than other managers, and so that worries me a little bit. Not that I'm not blaming Ants for tonight. I definitely am, but I have to say, like I'll ask you guys, the 9 changes. We've been listening now for a couple of hours of people trying to make sense of it, and it doesn't make sense really, right? Except maybe the shop window makes sense a little bit, and definitely for me, the only thing that really makes sense is Levy being in there meddling. Now, there's two versions in regards to Ants with that. Did Ants reluctantly give in to pressure from Levy? Or did he say, all right, if Levy wants this, I'm going to show him how awful they are and how much they need to get out of here, basically, how much they're not fit for my system tonight, If that
So
was
Jory, they were just on that. There's a super chat from Sean Butler. Embarrassing to find a way to blame Levy at the first opportunity of a poor performance. It has to be his fault somehow. Shop window, laughing emoji. So, do we really think that?
I want to answer that. It's not as embarrassing as doing free PR for Levy every day, Sean. So,
Oh, Sean.
No, listen,
Shot firing shots.
My take on that, and listen, I'm sure there is some truth in what's been said. Like now, there's shop window, the window closes, and maybe we're putting some of them players in the window.
There's two sides to it.
But
there's two
what
sides.
I would say, Jory, say to him, surely if that is going to be the case, why would the manager saying we play every game to win? If I feel I'm getting pressure to play these players, let's say for a moment, let's hypothetically say it's true, then me as a manager, I would be less reluctant to say we're going. I want to rotate. I want to try. I want to experiment. I want to see. I wouldn't say we're going in to win every single game, and then you present yourself with that team.
No. I agree, but this, you could put this down to inexperience at this level. You could put this down to Ants simply not handling this kind of pressure from the chairman and from the Tottenham community. Which is a new level of pressure for him, even though he's been doing it for a long time. It could also just be naivety, and In terms of blaming Levy, it's not about blaming Levy. It's not, I don't blame Levy for tonight. I blame Hans because he made him. If this was his idea originally to do it say, okay, Levy, I'll show you how bad these players are, and let's just get them out and get some new ones in. Then that would have been fine if it was, like you already said, Bournemouth or Burnley. But what Ant is completely miscalculating is the cups are the number one thing for the fans.
Yeah.
Now, if the cups are the number one thing for the fans, don't we think that Ant knows that by now? I think he's done enough research to know that at the present point in history where we are, he understands that the cups are the most important thing. So if he understands that, who would then want us to down prioritize the cups? Maybe the guy that's been there for every down prioritized cup campaign that we know of, Mr. Daniel Levy. This has been down prioritized throughout the history of this club. And so we shouldn't be surprised that this is being used as a double whammy, shop the players out, and it's not that important if we don't win, whatever. He doesn't get the pressure in terms of winning this from the board, but he gets the pressure in terms of showcasing the players. Also, I do think Ant is still using it a little bit as a preseason thing, which is a huge mistake. Now,
massive.
this is much more important to us than the league this year, but who it's the league is much more important to this year. Every year is Levy and the board. So let's here the fans, their priorities here, the board's priorities there. And we made a decision that goes the board's way. Shouldn't we then assume, if we're going to assume anything, shouldn't we then at least assume that it should be leaning towards the board? That's my thinking, at least, And I would say also another thing I really realized tonight was watching the football, especially the first half and stuff, is like, if you had that crop of players, many of the players that were fielded tonight were former first teamers, like Højbjerg, like Skip, so on,
Davis and Sanchez.
But
Davis
if he's
and
Jory,
Foster.
he knows he hasn't picked them from the Premier League games, and he's come out in his post-match press conference and said, "I wanted to give these people an opportunity. When else could I give them an opportunity?"
Mhm.
Why is tonight the opportunity? That he
But
says
that's
they keep
the
working hard.
naivety.
They keep
Yeah.
working hard and deserve the opportunity to go out and play tonight.
Mhm.
It's like, but is that the
that-
naivety? Because surely,
that's either complete naivety or it's naivety plus Levy. I think it's naivety plus Levy. How does the naivety work in terms of the plus Levy? It works in the way that if you think, Ants, let me talk to you, Ants. If you think appeasing Levy at any point is going to do anything other than get you fired, you're mistaken. Because we, the fans, basically get the managers fired, or maybe Levy get you fired. But then at least we know as fans you will still have our backup, like many of us with Conte, for example. But appeasing Levy is absolutely, if you're going against your own common sense and appease Levy, you're making a huge mistake, the worst mistake you can do. You're basically going to be cursed in this club.
but why, Jory? Why did he go to 4-4-2 when he never plays 4-4-2?
Exactly.
That was weird, right?
Tonight was weird
that's a
and all
great
and everything.
question, because that's the other thing I realized tonight is, if you have that crop of player, the former first teamers like Højbjerg and whatever. So this is why I'm going to give Levy a little bit of credit, because I realized maybe actually Levy understood how shit his players are, or how shit on the ball they are, and how maybe physical and simple tactics type players. And maybe that was the thinking behind choosing first Mourinho and then Conte, and then Mourinho, Nuno, and then Conte, because all of these managers are actually pretty good to work tactics around players that are not super technical, not your awesome midfielders like Basuma and so on, and we saw, of course, Conte use Basuma in a completely basic and in a way that Basuma had never played football before, because it was so much below his kind of technical skill level, so actually, I think maybe that was one of the kind of epiphanies I had tonight. Was actually, once you are stuck with a crop of players like Dyer, like Davis, like Sanchez, Højbjerg was a good transfer in my view, but that was pulled in by Mourinho to support this kind of a team. Now we have Ants. These kind of players cannot be anywhere near this team. Exactly like you guys said. Maybe 2, 3 of the old guard can stick around, maybe, and for me it has to be guys that don't have too much influence in the dressing room, like a Sanchez maybe, or something like that. But we need completely refresh of the second tier of the bench options as well, and we don't have that yet. We have to be patient for it. I don't know if this new, like, if Johnson's going to be the answer, or you hope that the stats are supporting it, and it's gonna work in a Anne's way. But I do not believe tonight was without strong influence from Levy and the board. But I put it all on Ants anyway, So Ants, you can't do this. Is your own. This is even like I agree with Brains. This is strike one, and you have 3, so you can't do this. And if you think you can do this, you will be hated by the fans very quickly, and you'll be out soon after that. So do what you've always believed is right to do, and just let Levy fire you then if you have to go against his will or whatever. You have to stick to your own convictions here, and I'm sure at least the more attentive part of the fan base will see the difference and appreciate what you're doing. But yeah, there's no football deal to be made with Levy. Let him pay your salary, and you do what you think is right. And let's never see this level of naivety or this level of meddling. Which one it is, I don't know. We will never know, but let's not see it again. Yeah. I don't know if that was wise words for you, Icky, but
yeah. Look, I don't know. I think for me, I think Ange has to take the blame on this. I think Ange picked that team tonight, and looking from what he was saying, he wanted to put some players in the window, or he wanted to give players a chance, and what opportunity was.
But he also said he wanted to win the game. That's the part that gets.
But you don't.
Yeah.
But for me, you can't win this game. This game with those players.
Yeah,
and anyone can see that. If you're a manager, if you've got all the coaching badges, if we can all see this with all these players for so long, I don't know whether he's trying to protect them. I don't know whether he's realised he's fucked up. And everything else, right?
But even then, even if you're trying to protect them, even if you think you fucked up, if you're trying to code over it, it's a big mistake to say that and pretend in that way, So because I agree with Brains, it's kind of condescending towards us. So yeah, just give us.
I think it's taken away a bit of the feel-good factor that we've got back the last 3 games, right?
And that's also the other part of the naivety is, and you don't have any margin to work with. It's not your fault. You're coming into a situation where there's no margin. You have to always give us feel good. If we lose, we'll tolerate that as long as we play in the way that we've been seeing these first games. We see progression in that, as long as we see the next window, we keep getting players in that support this kind of stuff. We'll bear over with the losses. I mean, we know we're going to be losing here and there, and maybe more than other seasons, but yeah, you don't have any margins in terms. We can't see Spursiness or Spursy players again. There's no
absolutely. And I think what also Brain said was right in the fact that if we'd seen, let's just say there was 3 or 4 changes, it was a Scarlett for a Richarlison, it was a Divine, it was a or White or whoever it is, it was a Phillips, it was a Austin. It was. Do you know what I mean? If that was the way that we, if we were going to see that it was the same old that we've seen that weren't good enough.
That's why I kind of also have the thinking that it also might be a cynical move by Anne saying, this is what we need to get out. This is what we have, like not like a shopping window for Levy, but more like a statement from Anne's. We don't have a second tier to work with.
Listen. My take on it is very clear in the sense of I understand all of it. I do. I just think it's come at a heavy price, that Carabao Cup exit. I mean, that's a very big price to pay just to highlight what the issues may not be. I don't know. I just can't get.
And that's where I say if Anne's being shrewd and cynical, then he's still being extremely naive because he doesn't realize how costly it is for him to drop this competition.
Yeah.
This was the opposite of what we wanted to see. And now, Ange, you really, really need to pull out all the stops for the FA campaign. Absolutely.
Yeah. So Danny, just on that, Danny's asked me a question to ask you. So it's not me asking you. He said, based on what Ange has said tonight, when I'm going to give these players a chance, this shows exactly where the club's priorities lie in terms of ambition. It's to focus on the Premier League and use the B team in Cup. It shows exactly what the ambitions of the club are, and obviously Ange is abiding by what the club is wanting, which is worrying. So he just wants your thoughts on that. So do you think that the club is doing...
Yeah, that's my biggest worry, is exactly that Ange is not big enough of a ego, of a name, of a manager to be able to push back against this board pressure. I mean, I think he's a man's man in most settings, but I've seen many a man's man crumple in the corporate setting,
So is part of it. So part of what I worry about, like I was talking about the feel-good factor, is he's come out in nearly every press conference, said the right things, made the right moves. We've got the results. We've beaten Man United that no one expected us to. 7 points out of 9 that no one expected us to. And now he's
done what he said he would do. That's the biggest thing. That's where the belief comes from.
But what I'm saying is, could he not have just gone, well, I don't care what you're saying. I don't care what this is. I'm picking the team. Or he's just going, okay, whatever. And is that then? Is he then setting himself up now? And I think that's what Danny's trying to get at. Is he setting himself up now to fail because
I understand
he'll just,
And I think this is how it starts. He thinks it's a small compromise maybe with Levy, but it never is. It nibbles away and it erodes, and it never. Even Conte got hustled in this way. One of the most temperamental, uncompromising managers of all time. He got ringed in by Levy's, charms, boardroom charms, whatever, convincing people to play along with him instead of fighting him. And there's, you do your thing or you fight Levy. There's no getting along. If your priority and Levy's priority are not aligned, then you have to fight. That's the
I just think I'm more upset with tomorrow morning. Right, we've got tomorrow. So we've got what, 2 days, less than 48 hours of this transfer window. we're picking up the phone to Man United for Højbjerg. We're picking up the phone to Rennes for Sanchez, saying, "Oh, we want another 3 million or whatever the figure is." Yeah. They're just their phone's ringing, and they're going, "Oh, it's Tottenham Hotspur ringing," and they just pick up the phone and they just put it down and they just let whoever's on the end of the phone talk. Right?
Okay. Do we have any leftovers from yesterday?
Yeah.
Let him have that. Yeah. Answer the phone. Yeah, that's kind of how it's gonna be. Yeah.
Yeah. Or their phone up going, "Hello, who's this? Oh, it's Tottenham. Yeah, this is Domino's Pizza or whatever. Well, you've called the wrong number." Do you know what I mean? I don't know what today. Look, if we'd got away with it and we'd got that, we'd got a second goal or we'd won on penalties and we'd absolutely not deserve to. You know, I don't think we deserve to win that game. But if we'd got out of that and we might be talking about something else. But I think
we would be pretty upset still. To be honest.
I think so because, like I said, I've just said from being in that stadium after the Man United game to be on such a high, and I know as Spurs fans we go on this roller coaster and we go on massive highs and massive lows, but
that's a reality.
This is like
this is more
we
about
haven't finished the roller coaster and we've just gone off the end and just crashed the whole flipping cart. Right, we've done one loop. And we're like, "Oh my God, this is amazing. Let me go on the ride again." And we've done like a final destination and it's just gone off the end and everyone's died.
I'll do you one better. We've done a new loop, which is so exciting. And that now we're back into the same dreary, tedious tunnel that we've seen 100 times before, And that's really what's shocking tonight is to see the old worst version of the Spursy team that we've been watching for a couple of years. We thought that was behind us, but it's not behind us. And let's hope, even though it was wrong and naive, let's hope it's Anne's way of helping the clear out. But we can't bet on that either. So for me, that's the only way to spin it in a slightly positive way. But also, I mean, Ans is going to make mistakes. This is his first time around in the big leagues, and I'm not happy about the mistake. But okay, you made one. Now don't make the same one in FA Cup. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. We need to go out now and just be the team from the last two games. Look, make a few changes. Look, for me, I thought. I think most of us would have thought Maddison would have been rested, Basuma would have been rested, and maybe a Porro would have been rested. But the rest, no way. Do you think we would have rested the others?
It only makes sense. It doesn't make sense in any kind of rotation or anything. The only thing is pressure or complete utter naivety. And if you think it's complete utter naivety to a level that we've never seen before, well, then you should be quite worried about this manager, right? So I want to be positive and go with the Levy pressure angle instead, So because that leaves me a little bit of hope for the manager still, So
nice one, Joey.
Big up, Joey.
Right,
thanks
guys.
for the call. Thanks for staying on, man. And we'll speak soon.
Take care, guys.
Take care.
All right.
Cheers, guys. Well, is this the last caller, Sammy? It is the last caller. We've saved the best till last. And he's live. It's KPV.
Hello.
Hello, KPV. That was very, sincere and quiet. How are you, KPV?
I'm fuming, man. What the fuck is this all about? 9 changes. You heard Brian. He's never made more than 4. Look at his job at Celtic and other teams. He's 4 changes. And he goes and changes the starting lineup from the Man U Bournemouth game. For fuck's sake. You don't do that. Forster clearly isn't good enough. Davis won this competition with Swansea. Fucking hell. 2013. Won it with Swansea. So Ben Davis won this competition. Yeah, so he won it with Swansea. So, and Højbjerg clearly ain't good enough. Yeah, as I said, Southampton we bought him from in exchange for Kyle Walker-Peters. But Man United, really? he wants to go Atletico Madrid, but he's going to do Carrick, Berbatov, Man United teams. Like, do they not know we beat them 2 times? Old Trafford 6-1 a few seasons ago, and now we just beat them at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Like, his cameos have been good when he came off the bench in the Premier League games, but tonight, shocking. Like, why did he not take a penalty? Like, he last took a penalty for us in that Carabao Cup game against Chelsea when we had Mourinho at the Tottenham Hotspur penalty, and we knocked Chelsea out. But our players confronted Mount after he missed that penalty, and yeah, Dyer and that confronted him when he missed. But like, this reminds me of the Euro 2020 final. No offense, Iggy, but you lot cheated in the final.
Cheated? How did they cheat, KPV?
They cheered, man, because, but like, the steward thought Bonucci was a fan, and she blocked him. She thought Bonucci was a fan. But this reminds me of the Euro 20 final when Saka missed that penalty. Like, yes, boss, I'm going to step up. But then he receives abuse after the final. Like, Saka, Rashford, Sancho, 3 of them missed a penalty. Like, had a good summer at the Euros. Brilliant, hosted it, but bring on the Euros next summer. Like, it's in Germany, but we all know how that's going to turn out. Italy have not won a game yet, so I'm still going to hope.
We've won a cup in Germany, so who knows? There's a possibility that we could do it again.
KBV throwing heat. So KBV, I've never known go to talk about Sanchez missing a penalty to throwing heat on Iggy in Italy. For the Euros, mate. I don't know how you linked that. I don't know how you linked that. Who was the jabronis tonight for you?
What, like player wise or something?
Player wise, was Ange a bit of a jabroni tonight? Was I mean, look, you called out Forster, but he was probably one of our better players tonight.
Yeah, probably, but we need another goalkeeper who can save penalties. Yeah, he saved one against Forest towards the end of last season with his leg. Like, that's the only time he saved a penalty. Like, we need another goalkeeper who can save a penalty. Like, I don't know, name me a person who last saved one. Lloris was the last one to save a penalty. That was against Chelsea in the Carabao Cup a few seasons ago under Mourinho. But tonight, he probably would have saved one. Bring back Gazzaniga. He saved one against Watford before the pandemic. Gazzaniga stopped Troy Deeney's penalty, so bring back Gazzaniga. Super Ollie T is a fan of him. I want Gazzaniga.
We've currently got 5 goalkeepers. We've got Vicario, we've got Foster, we've got Lloris, we've got Whiteman, and we've got Austin. 5 goalkeepers, KPV.
None of them can save a penalty though. Like, we need.
It doesn't matter what you say, Iggy.
Oh, we're going WWE.
Yeah, KPV's going to come. It doesn't matter what you say, Iggy. KPV is spitting facts. Oh, dear.
Facts, man. Like, 9 changes. Like,
who's to blame for that? Who's to blame for that, KPV? Who do you blame for that?
I blame Ange, man. I blame Ange. Like, I'll still back him, but Richarlison was useless. He can't score. Yeah, he scored tonight, but yeah, 4 goals for him, but 2 in the Champions League, 1 in the Premier League, and now 1 in the Carabao Cup. 2 have come away, but 2 came at home against Marseille. So 4 goals for him in total, but 1 in the Prem. That was at Anfield. He probably saves the best till last. He always scores, but we need another striker. And if people think Brennan Johnson's going to be our saviour, think again. Like, nah, man, we need another striker. Like, as I've stated many times, when Kane was injured on the pitch, Son was banging in the goals. Llorente was banging in some as well. So, Son.
Well, KBV, I've just read, and I had to laugh at it, that Tottenham are leading the race ahead of Chelsea for Ansu Fati.
Ansu Fati. Barcelona.
Yeah. He wants to leave Barcelona. So the choice of Tottenham or Chelsea, where are you going?
And we're leading the race.
Apparently we're leading the race. In the inquiring stage.
How much is that guy going to be worth? How much is he going for?
I don't know.
More than
I don't know, but
tonight's performance is shocking. Like, now we have to wait till January for the FA Cup. Like, who knows who we're gonna get in that draw? Like, not Fulham, because they like we never get to have a home tie when this competition comes around in August every season. Like, when was the last time we had a home tie in this competition? When?
I don't know, KPV. It's probably what was it, Norwich when we lost on penalties? Was that the last
Yeah,
time?
that was in the FA Cup, mate.
Oh,
That
it was
was
the
the
FA Cup.
Yeah.
And Tim Krul was the one who saved the penalties.
I
And
know. I was there, KPV. Laura left. She thought the game was over, and then it was extra time and penalties. It was quite amusing, that game,
yeah,
actually.
and we all know what happened then. Dyer went up to his brother because the police and the stewards were trying to stop him. Like, you saw it on the documentary, All or
Yeah.
Nothing, and he ran up to his brother. Like, a fan was probably saying, like, is that your brother? And he said, yes, that's my brother. Like, well, they told him, calm down, but he said, don't tell me to calm down. I don't give a fuck. Like, looks like he's going to go Bayern Munich. Like, bye-bye. Like, he took a penalty for England at the World Cup against Colombia, against Davinson Sanchez in Russia, and he took one for us against Chelsea under Poch, and we still got knocked out. Like, when we made the Champions League final. So he can only take one for England. Like, what's going on, man? Do not make 9 changes for the Burnley game, because you want to keep that Premier League starting lineup for the last 2 games we've had. 2 clean sheets in the Prem, but we're still unbeaten in the Prem, and yeah, so a good start in the Premier League season, but this competition we can't take serious. Everyone's been stating it for the last few years. We can't take this competition serious. We have to wait till Jan now for the FA Cup. Like, I just don't want Fulham, because we always beat them at theirs, but at least they didn't beat us in a game. We just went straight to pens. So, but not Fulham again, man. Like,
Are you
Mitchell-
worried? Are you worried about Van der Ven's injury, the injury that he picked up at the end of the game? Does that concern you?
Yeah, I am worried, but hopefully it's not serious. Like,
Yeah.
Madison's injury wasn't serious. It was just a
Yeah.
percussion after the United game. So
Yeah.
hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's just that, like, with Van der Ven, it's just a percussion. But if it is, then we're gonna go back to square one. Sanchez, David, like, no thanks. Sanchez out. He clearly ain't good enough. He played against Mourinho in the Europa League final with Ajax, and Mourinho actually wanted him at United, but now he joined Tottenham. And go back to Holland, man. Like, clearly ain't good enough for Tottenham. Go back to the Dutch league, or go to United, man. Just not us. He ain't good enough. Go back to where you came from. I heard that we might get tapped sober. £50 million could be accepted. What I saw on Google. So, like,
On Google?
clearly, yeah, I saw it. 50 million. That's how much Leverkusen won, or 70. But
Wow.
but I hear we're gonna get Toten from Fulham. He wasn't playing. Like, he was.
Yeah, he wasn't playing tonight. Dyer looks like he could be going to Fulham. I
Like,
don't know. Who knows? Maybe be a swap. Maybe be a swap.
He could be going.
Fulham are getting a stinking deal out of that if Dyer gets swapped for Tosin. But what do you, KBV? Final thoughts. What do you think's happening in the next few days of the window, apart from you calling a load of people jabronis and everything else? Anything else happening?
I think we'll get at least 2 players in and 5 out. But
really,
yeah,
wow.
2 players in. And
who are the 2 players, KPV?
Brennan Johnson, it looks like it's going to happen. We're close to reaching agreement with Forest. And I want another centre-back. Like, Tapsoba would be nice. Like, from Bayer Leverkusen. He's the one we've been chasing for all summer, and we haven't got him yet. We just lost our all-record goal scorer to Bayern Munich, and now we've still got that money to spend. Just pay the amount, how much Leverkusen want, Daniel, and get it done, man. Like, the last few years, like deadline day. Who doesn't love a bit of deadline day during the summer? I'll be watching.
Well, Tottenham Hotspur don't like deadline day. They're allergic to it, KPV.
Like, but if that, like I've stated it many times, and people remember this. On this day in 2012, we signed the GOAT, Moussa Dembele, and yeah, yesterday on the day we signed Son in 2015.
We did.
28th of August. So 2 great players who have probably been brilliant. But anyway, the deadline day signing, if we do get Brennan Johnson, it will never top Van der Vaart from 2010, because everyone can agree in the chat, it will never top Van der Vaart when we sign him on deadline
Great
day
signing.
under Redmond. So
Great signing.
give me Bonucci, man. He has sent a letter to Juventus saying he wants to be back in the team, but he's not part of the plans of them. But give me Bonucci, man. Kulu knows him well. Bentancur does. So give me
No
Bonucci.
Deadwood. We've got enough of Deadwood in our team. We don't need other teams' Deadwood. Bonucci's done. 5 years ago, I'd agreed with you. Now he's done. He's
KPV,
done.
you're talking nonsense now.
We need young blood.
It's late at night. It's late at night, and KPV, you're turning into a jabroni, man.
Nonsense, man. Like,
we need young blood. We need young, hungry players. Bonucci's belly's full.
I just want to say rest in peace to Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk. Been a difficult week last week for all WWE fans. Bray Wyatt passed age 36, so rest easy to him. I'm still in shock. He was brilliant. Like, let me in. That's what he always said. The lights go out, and he was the Fiend. 2019 to 2021. Sister Abigail. He could have took out the whole Fulham team. Bray Wyatt could have done a Sister Abigail on every single one of them. Like, they could have got a
KPV. Him and Luke Harper back together again. So
now there's only Braun Strowman and Eric Rowan at SmackDown last Friday, and the Wyatt family. There's only 2 of them. There were 4, but 2. There's only 2 are gone, but the other 2 are still back.
KPV, how's the wife?
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Oh no!
I broke up with her because she never warned me. I've not seen her since last year, the summer fair. So
anyway, KPV, you don't need her in your life.
I've already got someone.
You've got
Tottenham passing away. Spurs going out of the cup.
It's been a terrible. Anyway, KPVs, we're going to wish a happy birthday to Yves Basuma. It's his birthday today. It's his birthday.
Bossuma. His name's Bossuma.
Bossuma. Okay, KPV.
Bossuma.
Right, KPV, it's late. We need to go home. It's late.
Yeah, I know, man. I'm out.
We'd love to sit and chat you two all night. He's already home. Yeah, you're out. Final thoughts, final words, and as always.
Always, Levy sucks. Brian Daigle in.
Big up, KPV. I wonder what he was going to say. I thought he was going to say Daigle sucks as well. I don't know where that went. That was a weird final call. Big up to KPV. He's still chatting away to himself in the background. Look, guys and girls, it's been a massive disappointment tonight. We move. I don't want to say that. We move. That's the normal thing.
We take the hit, but tomorrow we must rise again because it's Wednesday, and we're only short 3 days.
Yeah.
Before we play Burnley again, so we can't. We can't. Listen, it's disappointing, but you're right. We need to at some point. We need to move, and tomorrow, as of tomorrow, we start doing that for the Burnley game.
Yeah,
in the hope that we get some players in, hopefully, and some players out.
Look,
hopefully,
whatever's going to happen, it's not going to be boring. It's never boring with Tottenham Hotspur. Look, it's been a disappointing night. Thank you to everyone that's joined us. Thank you to everyone that's called in. Thank you to everyone that's left a comment, who's liked the stream, who subscribed to the channel. If you like what you hear, you can find Iggy and Tottenham Away. You can find me at Shelfside Spurs Show. And if you are in New York or you are from New York, maybe I'll see you on Saturday for the Burnley game. But look, guys and girls, it's late. Who knows what will happen? Maybe we'll wake up to a few signings or a few outgoings. Maybe we won't. So, you know, maybe
Well, those
we
are the
won't.
options.
Those are the options. It's a yes or a no, right? We're going to wake up. It's going to happen or it's not going to happen. So, look, we move Saturday, Burnley, Turf Moor, 3 o'clock kickoff. Who will be here, actually? The people that will be here will be Sai will be here with Sim for that game. So, yeah, tune in then. Thank you very much for joining us. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.